All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Zadko, Director of the Audio Video Division here at New Degree Studios. And I'm really excited to talk to everyone who's here tonight and to everyone who's going to be watching this recording later about our new audio show division. When I say new, it's kind of funny because on the slide, we've been secretly doing this for a while because we wanted to make sure that we got all our ducks in a row. And so we had a kind of a secret cohort and we got 4 really good audio shows made with our creators. And because of that, we have a tremendous amount of confidence in this program. Although this is officially cohort 1.0, just want to say that I'm hopefully the weather will hold up. I'm in Tampa and there is supposed to be a thunderstorm here soon, rolling in soon. So if the worst comes and my internet cuts out, I will record this in full tomorrow morning and just contact you all and put you all. So make sure if that happens that you private DM me so that I make sure that everyone will have access to the recording, but those of you who are here in attendance in particular. Also going to ask you to hold questions until the end. I am a verbal whirlwind. I am going to be going at kind of super speed. I have a lot of information in my presentation that I want to get through, but then we will have plenty of time for questions. So please hold them until the end and let me do the entire presentation. Thanks very much. I'm going to screen share now with you and let's get started. Audio shows cohort 1.0, an exciting way to enhance your brand. And when I say that, many of you have come from our book division and you already have the start of your brand. And this is going to be the next sort of chapter in that. And what is an audio show at New Degree Studios? So what we define it as is a short dynamic audio presentation that's either informational or instructional in nature. So we do a full season of 8 to 10 episodes. They're pre-recorded or what we call canned. So an audio show is not, I want to make this very clear, it's not a podcast because we consider podcasts to be either live presentations or a regular serial that airs at a particular time that's a continuing serial where we're doing a canned season where you're going to put the entire season out. You're going to distribute the whole season at one time. After you make them all. So this is also not a radio drama, which is a dramatic presentation of a fiction novel that requires multiple actor voices, loud sound effects, original music, and other expensive pieces. So we're not in the business of doing radio dramas right now. We're starting out a little simpler with these kinds of shows. These are the best types of shows. One, informational shows about nonfiction topics. So in our test run, our creators did shows about health and fitness, healthy baking practices, internet security, how to improve culture in corporate settings. Another great type of show is a workshop, how-to, self-help, or classes. Do very well in this format, especially if the creator does one topic every 10 minutes of show and provides homework or action plan activities. Fiction authors discussing or teaching aspects of the creative process and using their book as part of the lesson plan rather than attempting to dramatize their fiction novel. So we do have a nice piece for fiction authors. We're just not going to do a dramatic presentation of the book, but we found that fiction authors that want to teach aspects of the process do really well with this kind of audio show. And informational shows about a nonfiction topic that uses data, interviews, and other non-visual tools. Those kinds of shows do well in this format. It's an 8-month program. So you'll have 8 months from the time you start, which we consider that to be from the time you sign your contract, in the program to complete your entire season. The program is broken into 4 phases, which are pre-phase, and then 3 phases. That's all going to be described in detail during this presentation. Additional time beyond 8 months can be granted to any creator who needs it to complete their show, but additional financial arrangements will need to be made. So within what we're doing, the context of what we're doing, we're hoping that everybody gets done in 8 months. We haven't yet had anyone fail to build their entire season of an audio show in 8 months. We know that real life happens sometimes, and things happen. So we do have contingencies. So you have different options for the kinds of shows you want to create. So you can create shows that have 10-minute seasons, 10-minute long episodes, 10 episodes per season, 20 minutes long, 10 episodes per season also, or 30 minutes long. You'll do 8 episodes per season if your show is 30 minutes. 2 minutes of your shows can be used for the opening and closing. You can do shows that are shorter than 10 minutes. The cost on that is the same for 5-minute shows and 8-minute shows due to our arrangement with our post-production team. So some people might want to cut shorter episodes, and you can. We're not going to say, no, you have to do 8 minutes. You can do 6-minute shows if you want. The second option is you can do fully or partially scripted shows, but some people like to do them completely improvised and do bullet outlines only and record more takes. So the way that you go about producing the show, we have different options for that. And then the book can be derived from your book or your head. Some show creators will pull a great deal of material for their season from a book that you've already written. Some will pull half of their material from the book, but also create all new material for the other half. And then some creators, you may not even have a book. 2 of our 4 creators in our experimental program didn't write a book on the subject they made a show on. So we had a lot of great success with that. Having a book is not a prerequisite for doing a show with us. All of these are acceptable and viable at New Degree Studio for this project. Why 8 months? Why do an 8-month cohort? So different aspects of your show are going to affect how long each episode takes you to produce. 10-minute episodes with less segments obviously take less work than 20 or 30-minute episodes. Fully scripted segments are more labor-intensive than improvised ones. Interviewees may need time to be properly scheduled and prepped with the questions ahead of time. Some creators may get their entire season creatively completed quickly, but will want to keep selling advertisements until profits are maximized. I'm going to be talking about selling advertisements a lot later on in this seminar tonight. We're going to make a lot of money that way, both us and you. All segments for an episode must be complete for it to go to post-production, including the receival of the 20-second advertisements from your sponsors, plus receiving permissions to use inserts such as songs. Maybe there's a sound bite or a sound effect that you want to use, but you need permission. It's copywritten by some other entity, and you need to get permission. Sometimes these things take time. We want to make sure that you have the time to get everything done. Pre-phase and 3 phases. Pre-phase is our organizational phase. The phase 1 is the pilot or the first episode in your show. Phase 2 is the rest of the episodes, the full season. And phase 3 is about your distribution networks. So the pre-phase is obviously you're going to sign your contract. And when I talk about pathways, you'll hear us talk about the 9 pathways. I went over them. That's this stuff with the different options. How long is your show? Are you going to be scripting it or doing it improvised or half and half? And are you pulling the material from your book, or is it all new original materials? Those are the pathways. So that's what I mean when I talk about that. That's all. You're going to be making those choices ahead of time, because we need to know what kind of show you're making. So you'll do a promotional video. Those of you who did a book with us know what that's all about. Hannah Enriquez and our video production assistants will, it's pretty much the same kind of thing. You'll do a promotional video with them, kind of the same way you did one for your book with us. Now, we have something that I've created called the preparedness exercises. And the reason for those is because with our book division, for the most part, most of you probably started in Creator Institute and had a little training in the process. Here you're jumping right in with us. So we want to know what you know already and what you have ready, and what you need to prepare. This is going to allow you to basically learn a little bit about the expectations, as well as also your producer will read your preparedness exercises, and then that'll save a lot of time in your first meeting. They'll know what kind of show that you're making right up front, and instead of taking the first 15 minutes to ask you those questions, they'll come in and go, okay, I know that you're making a 20-minute show and that it's going to be mostly scripted, and they'll know all of that stuff. And they'll also know if you have equipment. We'll talk about how you're planning to finance in phase one and all those things. Sound tests. So if you already have a microphone, we have a professional microphone that we recommend. It's about $130 on Amazon. But if you already have a professional level microphone that you're comfortable with, we just need to hear how it sounds. And if if our post-production editors are like, that sounds good, then you don't have to get another mic. You can just use the one you already have. But we need to do sound tests to know. So that's all part of the pre-phase stuff. And then, of course, we're going to make your pilot in phase one. So the initial financial obligation is $4,000. What we found is that building the pilot episode helps us sell advertisements in phase two to third-party entities. So we want to make that first pilot. And there's 3 different ways you can pay us. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. What you're going to put together is you'll pay us $3,500. And then you're going to raise another $500 for equipment and fees related to the project. So things like a professional microphone, maybe an external storage hard drive to store all your files on, professional interview software. It's no longer acceptable to do professional interviews on Zoom or Skype. It's all going to come out grainy. That software is like subscription based. It's usually like only $10 or $20 a month. But again, we want you to put the money together for these things. You may need to soundproof a room, and we want you to be able to do all that stuff. Distributor fee costs. So if you end up on Audible or Spotify or, any of the paid for ones, you won't think about later in phase 3, oh, I need more money. You're like, I put that together. I have everything I need. I put together an additional $500 and everything I need to buy that I'm not paying New Degree for. I have that money. I raised that money intelligently in phase 1. So the 3 methods of funding: pre-funding, you just pay us. We bill you, you pay us. That's it. The end. Not much to talk about there. The crowdsource campaign. So those of you who have done a book with us in the past, we're familiar with Indiegogo. We've moved away from Indiegogo because of their 9% fee and a lot of other reasons. Indiegogo is a great crowdsource program, but we are now doing business with a company called Attendees. And we love Attendees. And with our division, Attendees is fantastic because we're going to be able to use it for both a crowdsource campaign and to sell 20-second advertisements to entities. They'll be able to buy the advertisements through Attendees also, which means that you won't have to collect money from random third-party entities. It's all just going to come right in there, and it's going to look professional and fantastic. they'll be able to send us their banners and everything right through attendees. So with both of these methods, we'll be using attendees. And don't worry, I'm going to talk a lot more about the 20-second advertisements. I'm not going to talk a lot about crowdsourcing. Tonight, we'll have, of course, seminars in the program on it. But for those that are here or watching this video later that aren't sure what a crowdsourced campaign is, you've never done one, essentially you'll be contacting friends, family, colleagues, etc., to raise the money. And we have wonderful templates. You're going to be offering them in this program, really kind of like tickets for you can do a premiere, which people love premieres. They're parties where you do the pilot episode. Everybody gets to watch the pilot at the premiere. So those are fun parties, and you can do all kinds of fun stuff to just raise the $3,500 to $4,000 that you need for phase one. And if you prefer to just try and sell advertisements right away, you can. We have all the tools and we have everything that you're going to need. Don't worry that if you've never done it, we're going to help you do all of that, just like we did with the book program. So you can use one, two, or all three methods to raise the 4K at your discretion. Your producers can be on hand. Like I said, we have templates available on day one for both crowdsourcing and selling ads. And your producer is also going to help you by vetting your written materials and role-playing with you to hear your pitches and help you refine them. So now we get into the fun part, the creative phase. We're going to build your entire pilot from scratch, teaching you the right methods and providing you tools that you're going to use a lot in phase two when you have 7 to 9 episodes to create in a timely fashion. So we have organizational exercises. We're only going to focus on the pilot in phase one. We're not going to do the whole season. We're going to wait till phase two to do the rest. But this will teach you how to do these things if you're not already familiar. Obviously, choosing your episode topic, creating a segment by segment outline. So when you put together a show, the main segment is going to be you talking. But you're going to have inserts as well, which could be sound effects, music interludes. Any interview you do with a guest or expert is considered an insert, and they're each their own segment. Your commercials that you're going to sell will be an insert. And so you'll constantly be going from your main file and putting together your episodes segment by segment. And we'll keep it organized. And then, of course, you have to create a production schedule. When you are putting together a show, a production schedule is really essential. You don't want to lose track of any of the pieces. You want it all in your calendar. And so we're going to teach you step by step how to put all that together. So the research phase, again, when you wrote your book, you probably did all of your research while you were at Creator Institute. We don't do Creator Institute for this program. So when you're putting episodes together, if you're doing new material, you're not just pulling from your book, you might need to do some research first. And so this is another reason why we provide 8 months for your entire season. If you already have the research done on everything you want to include in your show, that's fantastic. But we don't expect that to be true. And of course, you're going to be encouraged to dot every I and cross every T. Accuracy matters. So we want you to be accurate. The writing process, or not, as the case may be, for every segment of every episode that you decide to script, you're going to go through our 3-draft process. The rough draft, which is an info dump your data and write a crappy first draft material that you don't ever spell check, never, ever. Your producer will not read these. Nobody else should ever read these ever. It's just your first draft. The second draft, the real episode script, written as well as can be, to be read and vetted by your producer, will provide excellent rewrite notes so that you can then do your final polish, which is what you're going to record. So we make sure that the materials are right before you record them. Of course, you can do your entire show without writing at all. Improvise segments. If you feel comfortable just shooting from the hip and recording material without using a script, you can. We're not going to force you to write a script. If you feel like, hey, I know what I'm talking about, and I can spend the next 8 minutes talking about this subject, I don't need to write a script. I can shoot from the hip. So what you will do is a bullet point outline on everything you talk about. Your producer will check that out and approve it ahead of time. And then you'll want to do more takes. When you're reading from a refined, polished script, you probably only have to do, 2 or 3 takes. Every now and then you'll hit a hole in one. It'll come out perfect the first time. But when you're improvising, you're going to riff a little more. You're going to, the first couple takes, you're going to throw stuff out there, and then you're going to listen to it and go, wow, this stuff's great. And this stuff over here, not so much. And you'll refine it and refine it. You're only going to give, at most, your best 3 to the producer. Do not be like, here are my 22 takes. Which one's the best? Like, no. You'll figure out which 3 you think sound the best, have the best information. And then your producer can listen to 3 of those takes and help you select the one that will go to post-production as part of your show. Oop, I skipped this. Almost skipped dynamic inserts. That'd have been a catastrophe. So inserts break up monotony. As charismatic and lively as you are, you will want to diversify your show segments with fun inserts that may include, but aren't limited to, interviews with guests or experts, sound effects, sound bites, which are defined as short verbal clips, generally no longer than 5 words. Bang, bang, she said. You might throw that in the middle to break up a segment. Short music interludes that are usually only a few seconds long. So there is a limit to how many inserts you can have depending on the length of the show. We want to diversify, not have what we call the ping pong effect with too many inserts. Then you don't have a show, you have soup. So we limit that and make you really kind of think about, okay, what do I really want to use for my inserts, and make a dynamic, exciting show that is still easy for people to listen to and follow. Other phase 1 aspects, in addition to building your pilot, we're going to do a few other important things in phase 1 that will help you through the process. Oh, okay, someone got popped out. I'm going to let her back in the room. Okay, so cover art, original professional art for your distribution and promotional needs. Those of you that have done a, if everyone could get the mic, let me just make sure that that's all right. So cover art, which is original professional art. Those of you that did a book with us know about Georgie and his wonderful art staff, and we will be utilizing them again. So you'll get artwork that's gorgeous and beautiful with our professional artists. You're also going to pick 2 major distributors from a curated list of the best out there. And we pick them now so that the art team can modify the size of your art to match what the requirements are for your first 2 distributors, so that when we get to phase 3 of the program and you're uploading your files to a distributor, we don't have to resize your art then. We already have it for your first 2 distributors. It's already ready. So that's going to make things faster. And it's also going to allow you to discuss your distribution channels with prospective sponsors. They might be like, well, where is this show going to air? And then if you know your first 2 sponsors, you can say, we're definitely doing on, this one, we'll do Anchor and we'll do Spotify for sure. And that really helps facilitate that conversation. Again, we want you to look as professional as possible. If they're like, where are we gonna, put this out, and you're hemming and hawing, like, well, we're looking at different distributors now, it doesn't sound so great. So, it's like, we're definitely doing these 2, and then we're gonna look at a few others that we think might fit the bill. and then you sound great. You can also discuss that with your audience community that you're going to build. And then the third thing that we're also going to do is your opening and closing materials that are going to run throughout your entire season. So I mentioned earlier today that the first minute and the last minute of your show are reserved for the opening and closing. And so we've been able to make some really dynamic openings and closings with music and sound bites of you talking, and it's fun. It's always fun to do that. And then you'll create that for your pilot, but that will be used for every episode in your season as well. So we get that out of the way early. Phase 2, the entire season and the big money. That's what we want to talk about, is the big money. So phase 2 starts the moment we put the wraps on all aspects of phase 1. This will be sooner or later for different creators based on any number of factors. We want to start phase 2 no later than month 4 of the program. We have started phase 2 in week 4 of the program with certain people. Look, if you're doing a 8-minute show that's non-scripted and you self-fund it, so you just give us the money and then you go and you improvise a couple of segments, you're done, right, with the pilot, and you can move on to phase 2. On the other hand, if you're doing a 30-minute show that's fully scripted and you're going to do a crowdsourced campaign for some of the money, and you're going to seek out an advertiser for the rest of the money, that could take a while to put all of that together, both financially and in the creative process. So we've had it both ways, and that's why, again, 8-month program that some of you might finish in 5 months and some of you will take until the very last day. So we'll see. So you're going to be building 7 to 9 episodes in phase 2. I've had people ask me, what if I just want to do a 6-episode season? Can I? The answer is yes. Obviously you can, and we'll work out the financials on that. There's no problem there. For people who want to do 11 episodes or 12 episodes, the answer to that is, let's get 10 episodes done in the 8 months, see how much time you have left, and then work out our per episode price based on the length of your show and all that for episode 11 and 12. If you have the time to do it, then it's just a matter of us putting together. But let's go ahead and make a 10-episode season before we think about trying to make 11 or 12. But you can make less if that's what works for you. Organizational exercises for real this time. So in phase 1, we created, I don't need created and picked there. Let me erase that. Neutralized. Oh, it didn't get neutralized. Okay. In phase 1, we created an episode topic. We created a segment by segment outline. And then we made a production schedule using real calendar dates. For one episode, some of this may have seemed unnecessary, but we did it to teach you these tools because now you truly need them. Anyone who does not build a segment by segment outline in a full production schedule when attempting to build 7 to 9 episodes of an audio show will absolutely fall apart and get wrecked during the process. So do this again first before anything else. When I say you will get wrecked, I'm not talking about that fun kind when you went to that party and you had that tequila sunrise. No, you will get wrecked as in pain and tears. Okay, it's not fun to try and put together all this stuff, especially when you have all the other things going on in your life that we all have. So you want to be organized, and by doing it right with the pilot and then coming in and taking the time to do it right with your season, you're going to really feel confident about making your whole season worth of episodes. So financing and creative work are simultaneous in phase 2. So I'm going to talk about the money a lot in a minute, but what you're going to be doing is constantly selling advertising space to third-party entities, your sponsors, during the phase 2 process. And you'll also be constantly putting together your main segments, interviews, and inserts and all of the things that we talked about: research, writing script, recording segments, vetting and gathering creative materials. This is all going to happen simultaneously. It's not going to be a financing phase and then a creative phase. We're going to be constantly doing both through this. $15,000 is no big deal. Haha, I wait until now. And some of you are like, oh, look at the time. I got to go. Here's the thing. In phase one, you raised $3,500 for New Degree Studios. The full payment for the entire season to the company will be $15K, but, and I want to stress this, you will not be on the hook or contractually obligated to pay us the $15K out of pocket. That will never happen. You will make the money strictly through selling 20-second advertisements at $3K per ad to third-party sponsors. And we're going to teach you how. Our creators have succeeded at this in the past because we teach you how to find one-to-one alignment and create a fantastic list of entities to reach out to, as well as how to find the right contact person. Your producer will role play calls with you, as well as vet your call script, which will derive from our strategic templates. So you'll know what to say, how to say it, and who to say it to. $3,000 is considered sock draw money for most entities, to the point where they're going to be like, that's it? That's all it costs? You will be able to lock down sales with the lowest person on the company ladder. That's so important to the process. Unless you do a big deal for many episodes, the first person you talk to should also be the last person you talk to at that entity. You can often convince an entity to purchase advertisements for more than one episode and make $6,000 to $9,000 sales with that first contact person. All the tools and assistance are here. So while some entities want you to use their sponsorship contracts, and we advise that you do so under those cases, New Degree Studio has a contract ready for you to provide to sponsors. You don't have to try and figure that out. We have it for you. We will collect all monies from sponsors through our business relationship with attendees. You will not have to personally collect money. This is going to look professional and put your sponsors at ease that you're doing business with a production company that is a legitimate business entity. There is a processing fee from Stripe for this that's unavoidable, but we've made the decision internally that this is the best method available. I think that's 2.5% at this point, which was significantly lower than anybody else really that we were looking at. So Director Alan Zanko, that's me, will jump on Zoom calls with you and your sponsors to close sales if you need me to back up your play. And I'm capable of doing that. So if they say, we like your subject, we like all this, we really want to talk to someone at your production company, we have questions, your producer really isn't, your producer is going to help you with all these aspects, but get me on that. Just DM me and say, Alan, my sponsor wants to talk to you. I will be delighted to be in a Zoom call with you and your sponsor. Okay, so I've got your back. I've got you covered. Entities. What does that mean? They include corporations and other profit-based entities, other profit-based companies, really is what I meant to put there. Nonprofit organizations, government, religious, and educational institutions, private wealthy individuals or groups who want to sponsor your show. So this is not the entire list, obviously. It's just the most likely suspects who pay for third-party advertisements, of whom you can quickly locate one-to-one alignments with. Let's make a full season. So you're going to be free to create throughout the phase 2 process, building episodes in any order that makes logistical sense. We really don't care if you create all of episode 7 before episode 3. That doesn't matter because you're going to be distributing the entire season at once later. We prefer that you build complete episodes through the cohort that can be finished in post-production. Don't scatter around and have a lot of half-finished episodes and dump the entire season on post-production in month 7.5 of the program. That's when things get backed up, and it's much better to complete episodes and move on to the next episode. Your producer and post-production team will get involved with one episode for every 2K you raise in the process. So for every 2 advertisements you sell, which is 6K, you can fully complete 3 episodes. So you can continue to work on your creative materials. Your producer, every time you put 2K into the can, your producer and post-production team can work on that episode. This is why we don't need to put you on the hook or out of pocket for the full $12,500 you still owe the company in phase 2. It's different than the book division. With the book division, you're making your book and your marketing editor, your revision editor is doing the work and they need to get paid. So we put you on the hook for that entire fee, right? But here, what we're going to do it a little differently and make sure that you aren't on the hook. So that if it takes you longer to get money into the can, you don't feel pressured because your producer and your post-production team are standing by, and you can focus all of your efforts on selling advertising. Your producer is still going to help you with all of the elements of helping you sell advertising space, helping you vet the companies, helping you find the right person at the company, helping you by role playing with you and doing all of that. So you're never going to be abandoned or left alone. But we have, again, found that because it's $3,000 per advertisement and entities find that to be a laughably small amount of money, that our creators really didn't have a problem getting sponsors. They just didn't. So hopefully we're going to have that same immediate success with you guys. So we're extremely confident in our process. We don't just want you to pay us. We want you to pay yourself and handsomely, making lots of money before your show goes to air. Here we go. Let's make a profit. My favorite slide. And this is what Brian and I talked about when we were putting together this program. Once you've paid NDS the entire 15K obligation, $3,500 in phase 1, $12,500 in phase 2, guess whose turn it is to make money? It's yours. You can sell 1 ad per 10 minutes of your show. For 10-minute shows, 1 ad at 3K times 10 episodes is 30K. You only paid us 15, which means you're keeping $15,000 yourself. 20-minute shows, 2 ads at 3K times 10 episodes, that's 60K. That's 45K. 30-minute shows, 3 ads at 3K times 8 episodes is 72K. That's 57K in your pocket. These numbers are based on subtracting 15K. Obviously, if you raise money through crowdsourcing in phase 1, your profit is slightly higher. You will have to pay, obviously, the IRS, and there's a processing fee through Stripe. I mentioned it before. That will come out of all of our profits a little bit. So, but this is huge because you'll own your show, and you'll be able to make this money through advertisers, and you'll make money before the show is even finished. So that is really exciting. That's what we want to do. We can't really, I love the book division. I think it's a tremendous value. I have friends that self-publish their books and put all the pieces together, and that costs them around $12,000. So what we have in the book division value-wise is amazing. But with this, we can actually have you guys in the plus on the money side. And we can all make money together right away. You own your show. So once you pay us the 15K, we're done looking for financial compensation from you. You will own 100% of the rights to your show. You can give the show away on platforms for free to please your sponsors and deliver your message to a wide audience quickly, or you can sell seats to your classroom or build an audience on platforms where they will need to pay to listen. 100% of that profit, if you decide to monetize, is yours. We will never seek royalties or payments of any kind, period. No small print, no ugly surprises. you own your show, period. Phase 3 is quick. It's the distribution phase. We've already picked a couple distributors. Your producer is going to help you properly upload your files to those platforms. You are going to be personally responsible for paying those distributor fees, but that's why we raised the extra $500 in phase 1 to pay for ancillary costs like this. Some platforms are free but want a portion of advertising money. Be aware that you will have to cut them a slice of your profit from selling ads if you use them. Anchor is a really good example of this. Anchor is a free platform, so people can listen to your show for free, but they expect you to have advertisements and to pay them a percentage of that. So it's all just business models and who you want to work with. It's up to you if you want to charge money for the show, make additional profit, or give it away for free to build your audience. You made some good money selling ads, so this is a business decision. There's no definitive right or wrong. There's only what's right or wrong for your brand and how to achieve your goals for this project. What's next? Season 2. If you like the program and want to keep coming back to make additional seasons, we will welcome you back with open arms. Make as many seasons with us as you like. I'm excited about this program. I hope after hearing what I have to say that you're also excited about it. And Bailey just asked if you can see some demos from season 1. Great question, Bailey. And the answer to that is I have all of the files for all the creators, but I'm going to be reaching out to them tomorrow to get their permission. I'm not just going to put people's, stuff out there, but yes, I'm expecting that you will be able to listen to at least 1 or 2 episodes from all 4 of our creators. They're wonderful people, and their success stories are part of this story. And I know you want to hear what the show sounds like. That's an important part of this. So we are going to make that happen and make those available very, very soon. We have them. So I just need to make sure that our creators are like, yeah, go ahead, do it. And again, all 4 of them are wonderful people. If I get 2 of them to say yes, we've got plenty of examples. So, and I know I will. So we'll have those soon. I'll let you know. I'm going to make that public announcement when we have the examples for people, for everyone who wants to hear them to listen to. You guys can de-mic if you have a question. That's okay. Bailey hers up in the chat, but if you want to just go ahead and ask, we're into the Q&A session now. So feel free to ask me anything about the program that you like, anything I covered, anything I didn't cover.
Oh, hey, Alan.
Hey, Douglas.
Just could you explain a little bit for me? So if you're getting advertisers to sponsor up front, but then you're saying you can give it away or resell it,
Yeah.
would their advertisements be coming out of it? If you're going to resell it, their advertisements are coming out of it?
No. What we're saying is, I'm talking about, those are 2 different things. What I was talking about at the end, I know I'm a whirlwind verbally with this stuff. What I was talking about was your audience. So in other words, you're going to have your commercials, your 20-second spots are permanently part of your show, which is a selling point. And then when you get on certain platforms, distribution platforms, you have the choice to distribute that to audience members for free or not. So if you're doing a classroom or workshop, and you're like, I'm selling these seats for $150 a seat, great. So you make the money from your sponsors up front, and then you sell those seats to your students at $150 a pop. You make all that money too.
Sure. And do you find that it's easier to sell with that, to sell ads if the sponsors know that you're not going to be charging for the video access?
You know what? That's a wonderful question, and it's really particular to what you're doing. If you're doing a workshop or a classroom, they would expect you to make money off of that. people who do podcasts largely make their money off of sponsorships, and they air it for free, on Spotify or whatever. But this isn't a podcast, it's a canned show.
Mm.
So that's one of the reasons we decided to go this route, is because it gives the creators the freedom to decide. I'm going to go with these platforms, and I feel really confident that I'm making a lot of money from the sponsors. What I want to do is build my audience very large by giving the show away free. That's one business model. Another business model, though, is to say, I'm going to be on these platforms that are closed platforms, and the listeners also have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to make additional money. Again, I can't make a blanket statement, this is the way to do it, right? What I can say is that we will be very specific with your show and help you find the right platforms and the right business mentality to maximize your relationships with sponsors, because you might find out, through the process that, I love making the show, I'm making a lot of money with sponsors, and I'm building my audience for free. I can keep doing seasons. I've made, $25,000 in profit off of season 1 through my sponsors. I'm happy with that. Let's do season 2. Let's do it again. And you can run it back with the same sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
We're building this audience, and they, especially sponsors like, we love how the show sounded. Great job. Great, because we're going to do a season 2. Would you like to come back? And how many episodes do you want this time? Do you want 3 episodes, 5 episodes this time? How many do you want to sponsor? And the first thing you do for season 2, you won't be doing a crowdsourced campaign for season 2. We don't want to keep doing crowdsourced campaigns. We want to go back to your sponsors and go, we're doing season 2. We love you as a sponsor. We're so proud to have your logo affiliated with us. We've got the right messaging. Let's do 3. You want 3 more episodes? You want 5 episodes? What do you want? Your first thing you ever do in season 2 might be to make a 6,000 or 9,000 sale before you do anything else.
Right.
So that's why, I love the fact that we can keep going. You do the first 8 to 10 episodes, lock that down, figure out the right distribution platforms, the right business model, and then, take a vacation and then roll it back for season 2. And it's going to be easier in season 2 to convince sponsors, because first of all, even with new sponsors, you go, yeah, in season 1 we got these 6 companies, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we want in on season 2. We missed the boat on season 1. Yeah, that's okay. We got season 2. How many episodes do you want? It becomes much easier to make a profit as you move forward with it.
Right.
So we really love people that want to do 2-3 seasons with us at least.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I have a bunch of questions.
Oh, good.
First of all, is this solely an audio show, or
Yes.
it's the only visual component is the cover?
That's correct.
So there's no logo or visual component for the advertisers either.
Well, so that's a great question. So first of all, one of the advantages to purchasing, to using attendees and having them purchase their advertisements through attendees is they can then put their logo. We're going to have a sponsorship page rolling throughout it. So you can actually point your all of the people you want listening to the show, and even other sponsors, and prove, you go, we got Coca-Cola as a sponsor, and they go, prove it, and go, here's the website for attendees, there's their logo right on the show, boom, here's the contact person.
So basically there's like the cover art, and then maybe a banner trailer for the advertisers at the bottom or something.
Yeah, I advise everybody who's going to do something like this to make a website, using Wix or anything like that. It's really easy. And then,
right,
you can thank your sponsors right on. And I want to thank my sponsor and have their logos. They'll love it.
yeah.
They'll love that. So, you know,
Okay.
the promotional tools that you create, you should foster these relationships with your sponsors. But yeah, it's not
Okay.
like a video show where you could have their banner in the back behind you or anything like that. But that's
Okay.
another reason why we're charging $3,000 and not, $8,000 per ad or whatever.
Okay. You mentioned the promo trailer or the promo
Mhm.
video. Is that the same as the trailer, the book trailer that we did?
Yes, it's identical. The same people that
Okay.
made that for you will be making it.
Okay. Um, what else did I want to ask you? Okay, so the $500 you talked about at the beginning,
Yeah.
theoretically, if I recorded my own audiobook, all of the audio should be the same, correct? So I wouldn't need that.
So I want to talk about don't think that the $500 is for the microphone. Anybody buying a $500 microphone, like, it better be made of solid gold. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, with platinum stripes. The microphone that we recommend is which one we recommended, because we recommended it for that. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you used, if you did an audiobook with us, the microphone, the program, it's the same booklet, it's the same post-production team.
Right. So
So
in theory,
Mhm.
like I already have a space carved out that's ideal for
Right.
acoustics, etc.
Yeah. So maybe you just put aside $200 or $300 because you already have the microphone and stuff like that. But we want you to be cognizant of the fact that we don't want you to run out of memory. This is a thing that people don't think about, is you're going to be putting together your audio files, interviews, possibly sound effects, all that kind of stuff. And people that are just doing it on a laptop that don't have an external hard drive, look, it's not expensive. I just bought a
Right.
5 terabyte hard drive off Amazon for $80. So we're
Right.
not
No,
talking
I
about
understand
riches
that.
here. But for
Mhm.
someone who didn't do an audio book with us, who needs to buy a professional microphone and that hard drive, that's $200 right there. So we want you, do I need more than 5 terabyte? Here's the thing, audio files are not big, Terry, like video files. I bought a 5 terabyte hard drive because I'm the director of the program and I'm saving everybody's show on my hard drive. You know what I mean? You're probably good with at most a 2 terabyte one is, but again, I bought the 5 terabyte one for $80 off Amazon, and it's not a cheapo company. It's really very good. So it's these storage space like that is no longer expensive, but we want you to be aware of everything that you need, and we want you to have the finances. So you have a Blue Yeti, which again will do a sound check. Terry is popping these questions up on the chat for those
Right.
watching, that are here or going to watch this video later, can't see. And Terry asks, she has a Blue Yeti microphone. Do we have a list of we have one microphone that that's recommended, that we have a whole instructional guide on how to use it on. If you have a professional level microphone, all we need is to do a sound check early in the process in the space that you're going to use. And we can check for ambient noise. We can check that it's not grainy, all that good stuff. So if you already have a professional level microphone that you're comfortable with, we're not going to make you buy a new one. You got to do it our way. That would be insane. No, but what we do need to do is vet that. Our post-production team needs to hear it, because the last thing we want is for you to finance everything you think you need to make the pilot and the rest of your show, and then record it, and then for post-production be like, you can't use that mic, there's something wrong with it. So we need to do that right away so that you're prepared to get the extra $150 you need to buy the mic and have it shipped to you if you need to get one. We want to do this right. That's all. We just want everything to be clear and efficient, and we'll be as transparent with you as we can be about everything. But that $500 is not coming to New Degree Studios unless you want to buy me an ice cream sundae, which I would appreciate. But
Okay.
otherwise, but does that answer? Thank you, Terry. Take care.
Yeah, that answers that question. So basically the biggest difference between this and like a podcast, a professionally produced podcast, is that it's recorded versus being live. Is that correct?
That's one of the reasons. And then with a podcast, you might be doing, like a season that's like, 6 months or whatever. Podcasts are essentially serial based. They're long running. And so we're just considering this to be a canned show, which is a season, which is no different than, making a TV show for Netflix where you go, we're doing 8 episodes of that show, season 1, et cetera, et cetera.
So theoretically also, you would be releasing it all at once rather than
That's correct.
one episode at a time.
That's correct. Although that's also a design strategy. Most people do release it all at once, but some people like to have, you might if you're doing a crowdsourced campaign, one of the perks that everyone loves to do is a premiere party where you release the pilot only and everybody gets to watch the pilot. They've paid for the privilege to see it first. And so you're doing that premiere and you're releasing that, and then you'll release it to the public. And then take care, Doug. Nice to see you. And so then, but again, you can release them one episode at a time. We've had one person who was doing a show that was a short 6-minute workshop based show, and she wanted to release them once a week because it was, do the activities this week that we prescribe in the show. So it's all about what your show is about. What makes sense for your show.
So do you have like a weekly group the same way as Creator Institute to kind of learn all of this stuff?
We're going to have a lot of stuff. So first of all, what I have that's a little different is I've put together a gigantic training manual for creators. That's this giant step-by-step book, and we have exercises on everything. I'm going to have videos through the process, and we're going to have more live seminars that I'll have recorded on particular subjects that are relevant, in our series. And so we're gonna have a lot of trainings on that. The answer to your question, are we going to have a group that is instructional that way? That's no, and here's why. It's because Creator Institute is meant to be a class that you then potentially can move from Creator Institute to New Degree Press and publish a book, but you don't have to.
Right.
This is not meant to be a classroom experience. What this is a we're going to train you step by step. But some people also, and this is what we found in our experiment, we mashed everybody together. We were trying a bunch of different things with different kinds of audio shows and video shows, and we really wasted a lot of people's time by discussing like makeup and like wardrobe, and people who are doing audio shows are like, yeah, I don't need any, I could do this in my pajamas, so I didn't need this. So what we do now is we're curating, we're tailoring materials for people.
Alex,
yeah,
I gotta go. I'm running into an appointment.
No
but
problem,
I will send you a message, and maybe
Please
I can
do.
set up a time to just chat with you privately.
Wonderful.
Thank
That's great.
you.
Take
All
care.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Bailey, you're the
Yeah.
the survivor.
Yeah, I was
still
on
not
the call.
scared.
So basically, I'm kind of interested. So I want to see the demo. Okay, maybe like
Absolutely.
tomorrow you can send me the demo. I will do some research and then decide.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
I'll
for your
be-
time.
I'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care. Yeah.
And for everyone, one last thing for those of you watching the recording, you didn't get to ask your questions. So if you would like to, just private DM me and feel free to put yourself on my calendar. Once you DM me, I'll give you my calendar link and we can set up a time to talk one-on-one. Thanks very much, everybody, and have a great evening. And I look forward to making audio shows with all of you. Take care.